Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for coming out. For the people who are here in the audience, as well as the folks who are watching on the live stream, this is Studio Demo. My name is Indigo Sparks. We are here at 180 Maiden Lane for Studio Demo. Studio Demo is a broadcast hub featuring New Ink's wider creative community where conversations, demonstrations, and creative exchanges happen live. Our very first talk, Making Music with Machines, discusses how today's most boundary-pushing artists and musicians are melding new technologies into their practices. They invite us to consider the ways in which software and hardware developments are informing new evolutions in the aesthetics of sound. This session will be led by Selwa Abd, a Moroccan-born interdisciplinary artist working under the alias Burgonsist. Her multidisciplinary practice critically examines the evolving relationship between technology, identity, and virtual realities, drawing from the complexities of post-colonial urban environments. Selwa is joined by musician Holland Andrews, a composer, vocalist, improviser, and performer whose work focuses on generative, expansive tapestries and cathartic and dissonant soundscapes. Holland uses their voice, clarinet, and electronics to highlight themes surrounding vulnerability, healing, and the unseen. Last but not least, we also will be joined by musician MHYSA, otherwise known as E. Jane, a writer, vocalist, and producer who blends electronics, noise, R&B, pop, and soul to explore interior spaces. We're gonna just get to this talk. Let's just get right to it. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here with us. So since we only have 30 minutes, we'll try to keep it short and concise. And we'll first start with this gear reveal. So MHYSA and Holland Andrews will show their current gear setup. So I'm gonna start with this photo. Projecting, but wait.
Maybe you need to drag it over.
Is that low?
Maybe drag it to the other screen. Like drag the image.
Sorry for
like,
this.
Like if you click like there and then drag.
Here?
Yep, and try to drag it over. Maybe the other way.
Is the laptop set up to the, there we go.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. And then you can make it
Ah, perfect.
There we go. Okay.
Voila. Perfect. Okay.
Sweet.
So, MHYSA, can you tell us about this current setup and what gear are you using and why?
Yeah, so we have a Mother 32 made by Moog that I got at Moog Fest a long time ago now, honestly, like maybe 2018. And I got it for free because someone else didn't want it. So I told myself I had to learn how to play it. I have a SP, I have the old one. I really want the new one too, but right now I'm using the old one, and I have a Volca FM. And I'm running all of that through a Focusrite into Ableton. And yeah, why am I using this gear? Well, as I said, I got this for free, so I had to. The SP, I really love the potentials for what it can be live, but also how it helps you produce. So I kind of had to have one, and I got one 2 years ago, and I've been really excited about it. And the Volca FM is kind of like my melody maker, and it has a very limited range of sounds, and I really like how it helps me stay focused. And then Ableton's there to kind of like fill in the gaps and help me, actually produce. Yeah. Oh, and I also have the TC Helicon Voice Live Touch, which Taja Cheek from Lorraine told me about a few years ago and taught me how to use. And Taja does amazing things on it. And I just really use it to make weird effects with my voice and do loops. Kind of feels really relevant.
There's some sonic disturbances, but yeah, we can continue. And also, Misa, you have like 2 other photos that you sent us. This is really interesting because this is actually like how you save sounds, right? Like when you use the mug. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it comes with the manual for the Mother 32, and it basically It comes with the manual for the Mother 32, and it actually helps you sort of like as you like sort of like design the sounds, you can save them for later. And then like I write little notes about weird things you can do to kind of like manipulate the sound and shift it. Yeah, I love this little booklet.
And you have, so this is like you performing. Are you using the same tools that you described?
Exactly, it's the same gear, but performed with live.
Thank you. And Holland, you sent us this video that I'm gonna play.
Sure. I don't know if this is connected to sound. It's not. Hi everyone. So this clip, which normally has sound, something that I wanted to share about this clip was I'm using some new gear. I primarily use pedals when I perform live, pedals that were primarily made for guitars originally. You know, we can't hear any of this, so we could just, it's fine. That's okay. Is this? No. Well, let's use our imaginations. So I've been performing live with pedals since 2008, and really I started performing live with pedals was because the community of musicians that I was in were all like underground, like punk people, noise musicians, hardcore, people in hardcore bands, people primarily in bands. And when I started to, I played my first show, someone asked me to play a show, I had never played one, and then I asked them what gear should I get for this music that I was writing with just my voice and just my clarinet. And they all suggested to use pedals because that's the world that they knew and understood. So, so I've been performing with that kind of gear for years now. And then what's really interesting about the pedal technology nowadays is they're making pedals that get to generate kind of more randomness as technology gets to progress and advance. And something I wanted to show in that video was just a pedal that I use by this company called Chase Bliss, and it's the Mood MK2, and it generates this kind of like it's almost like granular synthesis in a pedal where it can capture kind of any length of time that you're inputting into the sound and then generate these like chances of beauty that you wouldn't be able to really create in a linear kind of way, where for years pedals were just like, this is a delay, this is a reverb, this is, you know, it was very, very linear in what they did. And kind of using that kind of gear for so long, it's really exciting to see now how there's more opportunity for randomness that can be built into these systems to have more textures, more variety, possibility for chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Like, I'm curious. Do you feel like are you currently using new, totally different pedals that you've been using before that had added new, how can I say it, like new textures and tones to, for instance, your voice, since you use it? Yeah, I'm curious if you have
Yeah, I've pretty much been using the same like fundamental like 4 pedals since 2008. One of them might still be from 2008, maybe upgraded at a different point. But then with additions to with pedals that are also completely brand new. I've tried the upgraded versions of pedals that I'm used to, and they always like take away the thing that I really love it for. They just change it, and it never feels like an upgrade to me. So I usually just stick to what I have developed a really embodied connection with for performing, and then learn something completely new to add and to build, but really fundamentally sticking to what I've been using for a long time.
Nice. And how about you, Misa? Like, do you feel like, the tools that you showed us, do you think that they added something new to your sound? Like a new texture or like tone?
Yeah, one of my favorite effects for the SP is actually the DJ X Looper, and I haven't produced with it yet, but I have used it live, and even though I kind of know what's gonna happen, it's a little bit random, and I love the little random surprises it gives me. And then also with the Volca, again, I don't have that many options, so the sounds that it has really informed what melodies I use and how they sound, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the Volca, like you said, it's really limited.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, do you both use limitations in your creative practice? Like, is it something that is important? Like when you compose scores, but also when you perform?
Yeah, check. Limitation is it was sort of my first tool in that when I started writing music, I don't know how to play piano or any kind of instruments that make chords. So by using pedals, and loop pedals and other kinds of delay, fundamentally I was able to start writing music with monophonic instruments, which is my voice and my clarinet. And then eventually, I try to expand beyond the limitations of these instruments to see kind of what new tricks I can think of, you know. And it really is interesting because something that I have been using for a long time, I can find a new tonal quality, a new effect just by changing one knob, turning it another direction, because I'd been so, you know, into using it in one way, and then I just try something different, and then I'm like, also my octave pedal has distortion. Oh, when I turn the distortion all the way down, it mutes everything, so I can cut my audio in and out, and then create, make my voice to sound like a guitar with this like an onset. You know, there's all these different sorts of ways that you get to be creative when you don't really have much. And then, you know, from the comfort of the limitation, it creates a curiosity for how I can learn something new. And using that same application of limitation when like writing music with Ableton and using the music that I write on Ableton as samples, and just really starting from a simple place when I'm really intimidated by, like, because there's so much, there's like infinite what we can do. So limitation is a really great entryway to like humbly learn a new tool for composing and performing.
Yeah, I definitely can relate. And you talked about Ableton, and I think that's something that like frustrates so many of us, like DAWs and this like, like the people who created Ableton, they have their own value. They had their own values embedded in this technology. So I feel like we're not alone. The fact that we're frustrated, like, is like a feedback. And I'm curious, like, about your take on, these new technologies, Ableton, like, do you use them as they are presented, or you subvert them and try to like push them to an extreme, like try to resist the tool?
When I first learned it, I was really about using it to write everything, and now I use it a lot more sparingly, as like basically it's just a in its effects, it's just like another like extra pedal that if you know a few effects, like, so like I'll use the vocal to write the melody and I'll play with everything the box can do. And then like I was telling you guys upstairs, I found like a dub reverb that I really loved. And so I put that on the Volca and then that changes the sound again, but it's really specific. I don't let it be the first place I go to look because it is soothing to have a limitation in what I'm creating. I also love using it in a way where you play with the, when you kind of like change the pitch shift. I love playing with pitch shift in a bad way where you kind of like just make it go up and down constantly and the randomness creates like a new texture in the voice. And I think sometimes, yeah, that can be really fun, or like changing the tempo and like changing the tempo can make the sound completely different, and doing that live can just be another way to add another sound effect or something.
And is it like something that you do as well? Like how do you differentiate your live practice, like live performance versus composing at home, like when you record for like a release or something?
Yeah, for me, for years, I would pretty exclusively write for performance, and then I create an album after I'm really, really comfortable with the material that I've been kind of like performing. I would tour with no album, and then just like, but be inside of the body of the music so deeply. And then when I would get to record, I would feel like, you know, this cathartic connection in the recording. And then something changed in lockdown where I got to start to find a new way to have that embodied connection of writing just exclusively on the DAW. And so bridging that gap between kind of what is available, what I've been able to write online, and what I perform. Right now, I'm still experiencing a great dissonance with people that kind of see me live versus what they've seen on Spotify or whatever. There is this sort of like kind of multi-dimensional aspect where it's maybe hard to pin down exactly what I do because of my history of feeling more like a performer. But currently, I'm in a practice now of having different opportunities that have come up for performances, like commissions, that are feeding into a record. And so I think that's right now how I'm trying to bridge that gap. I don't really feel like at this point I have to bridge it perfectly. I know who I am. I feel like people who find the different aspects and the facets of our work will find it at the right time for the right reasons. But it is, I've personally found navigating that balance between the like capturing the dissonance that I feel like is required for a live performance and embedding that into a record that can also have the same release for resonance, for healing. I feel like the dissonance is required to acknowledge that pain in order for the healing to feel safe to come. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, there are some sounds. I feel you on like the dissonance needs to be in the record. I was playing for a band for the first time in 2023 for a Pioneer Work show, and when we were practicing, my Moog, my Mother 32, like it was making this really crazy feedback sound at the end of this like really sweet R&B track, and that's staying in the track. Yeah. Like we heard it go loud and then cut off, and we were like, this is perfect. And now I perform it that way live, and I want to put it in the record too. So I love how those like dissonant moments can inform a sound that needs to be on the record too. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, do you feel like there is specific? I don't know how to explain this, but like for instance, when you collaborate with people, and let's say you have your Moog, and the other person has a synthesizer like a Nord, whatever. Like, do you feel like you're touched? Like, the tool represents you, or you feel like it's just like, what if your Moog disappears? Like, what do you do?
It does represent me. Yeah. Like I've played it for so long, and it makes me get to throw a temper tantrum on stage. But I've also been learning how to use it as a groove box. Something that is hard with like syncing though, with like syncing BPMs with other machines, is it takes the groove out, and that I've been really struggling with. So I've been trying to figure out how do I get it to talk to other people in a way where we can be a band. And I haven't quite figured it out yet. But yeah, I would be devastated if I lost it.
I just wanted to talk about the syncing of machines. It is so. I use a lot of loop pedals, and I'm in a piece with a collaborator, Jeremy Toussaint Baptiste, in a performance called "Sicker" by Will Rawls.
Love Jeremy.
Love Jeremy. And Jeremy's rig is primarily on Ableton, and so there's all these moments where we have to sync together, and it requires so much vigilance when we're each on like completely different grids that are repetitive. But it does call forth a presence and a rigor and discipline of listening to each other. You do, but the temptation to just be lost, and then also while we're performing, there's a click, like a 60-second BPM. If you see the show, you'll see. Well, whatever. That we're also, like, both of us are needing to align to. I just wanted to share the feeling of difficulty in that together.
No, I appreciate it because it is like there's this one beat I have that has like a groove that goes like this, and when it goes on the beat sync, it goes dun 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 dun. It doesn't go dun dun dun, and it really tortures me. If anyone has any tips after, I'd love to hear them.
And is it like, so how do you choose your collaborators? Like, is it like, because it's very, like, you know, like you could be going to a show and you love someone's performance, and you're like, let's collab, but then because of some technical difficulties, it could clash. You know, like, I don't know, like, do you think, you only need to be connected spiritually, not spiritually, but like, you know, being on the same wavelength? Or do you think that technology actually has a role, like can play a role on, you know, like allowing you to collaborate with someone else? Because like you said, I mean, I have the same issue when I perform because of MIDI, and I'm like, why do we have to use MIDI? So it's like, and then if you perform with like classically trained musician, it's more like improv and like free jazz. So I'm really curious about your take on collaboration and the limits of technology. Or
I think there needs to be a sensibility of appreciation for each other's limitations, right? Yeah. And a lot of compassion. I feel like the more compassionate, even if like I'm not classically trained, I kind of learned a lot on my own and like through my family. Yeah. Like my grandfather played guitar, my mother played piano and kind of taught me, but I only play with one hand, so I'm not very good, but I've been learning with a vocalist, so like I have some skill, but like I've played with Joy Goodry recently with my collaborative project Scratch. We were in a quartet together with May Sun, and Joy was so sweet. She's so understanding, and she's like, we're working in C, and she's like, this is what C sounds like, and I'm like, okay, I can do this with you. You know what I mean? So that compassion and meeting people where they are, I think helps collaboration.
nice.
Period.
Yeah. And like I'm really curious about like aesthetics in your work. And like, do you, like, are there any aesthetics that you'd like to experiment with, like at the moment?
I guess for me, aesthetics like they emerge from a very subterranean place, and also I feel like I'm very inspired by certain qualities of all different kinds of aesthetics. Where somebody can be singing an incredible melody, and if I've been working in a place that's like really, really textural, and then I hear this like soaring melody, and then I think like, oh, what if this jazz melody were to be, you know, integrated in this textural soundscape that I'm playing inside of, and so the aesthetics for me come from history, come from music that I listened to when I was a teenager, friends that. Music that friends are making, things that I'm really inspired by, those kinds of like qualities of certain aesthetics that feel really connected to my spirit. Then they just like all emerge in a way that is sometimes hard for me to define. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I think in the past I definitely kind of like let things emerge, but right now in the moment I'm trying to be just a little bit more controlling about my aesthetics just because I'll hear things and I'm like, oh, this could have really used that. So like we were talking about trip hop upstairs. Like I am thinking about trip hop very intentionally. I'm thinking about dub. There's a dub Massive Attack album that is just like so good, like dubbed out Massive Attack. Like, and I listen to that album like, how do I bring those textures in? But also I want to mine my mom's old like girl band records and, you know, all of that stuff. Kind of how do I get that to really fuse into the music I'm making? So it like I hear it and I go, that's what I meant to do. You know, but maybe I'll go back to being intuitive once I feel like I've captured those sounds, or not captured, that's a terrible way to talk about it, but like, I guess embodied those sounds for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we have 3 minutes, but I'm really curious about like your take on AI because it's all around us. It's on a lot of plugins. Like, I feel like it's inevitable in a way, but have you been experimenting with AI? What do you think of this tool?
I feel so old because I only use AI like I would use Google because I'm a millennial and that's just what we do. Sorry, not that to say that I'm speaking for everybody, but I feel like in this particular conversation, I'm really like, I feel like somebody's grandpa just in terms of this conversation, so I'm gonna let y'all take it.
I tried to write a song with AI 2 years ago, and AI just doesn't have the feelings I have. Like even if I gave it all of my feelings, I was like giving it all of my emotions, and what it spit back out to me just felt really flat. So it has some potential, but I haven't seen it yet. I was listening to this talk with will.i.am and Keke Palmer, where will.i.am was talking about AI, and basically he was saying like, if you know the Black Eyed Peas, whatever. He was saying that basically AI is going to make a lot of boom, boom, pow, if you know what I mean, but it's not going to make Where's the Love? And I think like it's bringing back the whole like sincerity is back wave. I think jazz sensibility is going to be really popular right now because we're going to have to counter these very flat, generic songs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like how, we have 1 minute, I think. So how do you stay grounded in your artistic voice amidst all this technical change?
I pray all the time. First, yeah, prayer and quiet, and then seeing how much like my personality can get out of the way to reveal the shining, glimmering thing that drew me to wanting to make music in the first place. I know that will always be there, and finding ways to access that place as often as I can in my daily life is how I stay grounded and connected to the la musique. Sorry, I don't really speak French.
I love what you said about prayer. I have an altar now. I've had an altar for 2 years. It's right next to my gear setup, honestly. And so yeah, and like the sage like goes through my studio, and I do a lot of like grounding yoga. There's this black yogi Nico on YouTube, so I do her yoga, and I also go to my friends' shows. I feel like going to my friends' shows, hearing them perform, really connects me to the music and to people. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Holland and MHYSA, for this conversation, and thank you everyone for being here with us.